Hello everyone, this is Jason Yonker, also known as Yonks, bringing you YonksTV episode number 24. Today we're going to do a Throwback Thursday video with the power of play. And within this video I'm going to show you my personal play history. Now those of you that know me know that I have a very strong track record with computers, been pretty successful within the telecom industry. But you may not really know the history behind how I got so good with computers. So looking at the very first computer that I had, it was actually a Texas Instruments TI-99 4A. Time frame on this guy, it came out in the early 1980s. It was a cartridge-based system, no capability on board for actually recording anything. I believe my dad actually purchased this platform for learning programming, but it wasn't too long until I actually took it over, played a lot of games on here. This is actually Hunt the Wumpus, played Munchman, Parsec, Space Invaders, the list goes on. It was a great platform for gaming. It had a little paddle with the button on it. And another exposure, this was actually the first platform that I actually got some exposure with programming. Since this particular platform didn't have any capability of storing anything on board, I can remember very distinctly having to hook up a cassette recorder mechanism to this particular computer to actually store your programs on it. And fast forward, computer technology evolved very quickly for personal computers within the early to mid 80s. My next computer was actually a IBM clone. It was a XT8086 and had a green monochrome monitor with a little floppy disk. The ones that actually were floppy and not the harder ones that came out a little bit later. The next major milestone that I remember was getting a modem. And this was in the early to late 80s. This wasn't actually my first modem. This is the modem that was most memorable for me. This was a US Robotics. I had a Courier dual standard 14.4 modem, and that modem was so expensive back in the day. I actually remember paying $400 for that modem used. That's right, $400 used for a modem. So fast forward a little bit, I went from a computer user to a computer builder. And this was the catalog. It was actually the size of like a phone book called Computer Shopper. This was before the internet. In order to find parts for a computer, I actually looked through here, and I remember spending hours and hours specking together parts for my computer, my dream computer, stuff that I didn't have, and I built quite a few computers over that particular time frame. This particular picture isn't one that I personally built myself, but it's just a example of a white box computer that I built. So, and keep on moving on here. That actually led me to my first opportunity to get a job within the computer industry. In the late 90s, after I moved out to Denver, TCI had partnered up with At Home to build out their cable modem network, and I got on there as a customer service representative in the late 90s, and there was an incredible growth in that year and a half that I was there. We went from 50,000 cable modem subscribers to over 500,000. And while I was there, I actually learned that I really liked networking. I had a strong knack for that. So I actually obtained my Cisco Certified Network Associate. And then shortly after there, I went to boot camp and obtained my CCNP, Cisco Certified Network Professional. And this was in late 2000, and that actually allowed me to get my next job at Reliance Globalcom. At the time, it was actually Yipes. They got acquired by an India company. I think the time frame on that was 2007 or so. And some of my significant contributions while I was at Reliance Globalcom, I actually implemented a open source IP database where we migrated 200 to 300 spreadsheets worth of IP addresses into an actual database running on PHP and MySQL. I actually also set up a grassroots wiki platform on the open source platform MediaWiki, and then as the needs of the business evolved, I actually put together a proposal where we implemented an enterprise wiki called Confluence. And while I was at Reliance Globalcom, I was actually the operations management in charge of offshoring the operations in Denver from a 24 by 7 basis to our corporate headquarters in India. And while I was at Reliance Globalcom, we actually reshored the operations from India back to Denver. But my play with computers didn't stop with computers and networking. And looking at the PDAs and smart cell phones, and I say smart cell phones because this was actually before the buzzword came out, smartphones even existed. And this wasn't the first PDA that I had, the handspring visor prism. And fast forwarding to from PDAs to smartphones, I've been a fan of the Android platform. Looking here at this is the very first Android that I had. It was the HTC Evo 4G, and I actually really like toying around on those. I rooted each smartphone that I had. Fast forwarding to today, I actually have the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and will definitely be upgrading to the Note 4 when it comes out. It's been a great platform for me, lots of fun, do a lot of tinkering around on that. Been migrating more and more of my computer usage from a laptop, desktop situation to a smartphone. And now let's look at the age of social media. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. I've been involved in all of those particular platforms. One of the most memorable was Facebook. I actually was involved in a social media game that had a lot of popularity in 2009 timeframe called Mafia Wars, and it was a game ran by Zynga. I actually set up a Facebook fan page, like page for that particular game. At the peak of that popularity of that game, it had over 100,000 fans. So I have a very strong track record with Facebook and social media as well, and I'm continuing to get better and better at the various social media platforms. But it doesn't stop there with just social media. I'm actually very heavily involved with Web 2.0 technologies, blogging and wikis, and you can take a look here at my yonks.me blog. And this is where a platform that I'm really focusing on internet marketing. Have various tips, strategies, how-tos, and whatnot on that particular blog. It's a WordPress blog that I set up on a VPS server, virtual private server, that I run and maintain. So I have a very strong track record. That's not the only particular blog that I have on my VPS server. I'm not going to go into detail on that within this video. And I talked about the wiki that I set up with Reliance Globalcom. And I was really struggling with how to keep track of all the personal information for myself, so I came across an idea that talks about wikifying your life. And I can't really talk about how much impact that's had as far as me organizing information. Here is a screenshot of a page out of my personal wiki that I use. This page is for my education that I'm currently going through. And to bring this back full circle here, I talked about social media, and this video was hashtag TBT, which stands for Throwback Thursday. It's actually one of the most popular hashtags used on social media today, and you can see an example of a social media post that I did here on April 3rd, 2014. One of the images used within this video itself. So the reason that I did the hashtag TBT is with marketing, hashtags are used very much, but again, don't have time to talk about that within this video. So to bring it back full circle, play has had an enormous impact on my life. I still play with computers today, and I think it was Confucius that said, if you find a job that you love, then you'll never have to work a day in your life. And that's really how I feel about computers and technology. And I want to end it talking about how you do anything is how you do everything. So feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel here for more interesting videos such as this. And again, this is Jason Yonker, also known as Yonks, signing off.